When printing strings and numbers, it would often be convenient to display both values using a single call to print. For example, we may want to print a description of what a value is before the value itself. So we've seen that numbers can't be concatenated with strings using the plus operator, as the presence of a number instructs Python to attempt addition, and that fails. One approach we could take is to coerce our numbers into a string using the str function. In Python, every data type can be coerced into a string representation. I mentioned that Java did this automatically when an attempt's made to concatenate a string and a number, and the same thing's possible in Python. So let's swing over to the code and create a new file. I'm going to call this one rep fields. Right, so I'm going to start by typing age equals 24. Then on line 2, I'm going to do print, parentheses, double quotes, my age is, space, double quote, plus str, age in parentheses, plus, double quotes, space, is. Closing double quote and right parentheses. So if we run the program, we confirm we get the output, my age is 24 years, and no longer getting an error now when we're using the plus operator to concatenate numbers and strings. So using the string function helps us to basically coerce an integer into a string, but this can rapidly become tedious having to coerce every variable using the string function. Python 3 provides a much better mechanism, and that has improved further in Python 3.6. So Python 3 allows strings to be formatted using replacement fields and the dot format method. And these are probably best explained with a few examples. So let's change line 2. Instead of using the string function, I'm going to put my age is, and I'm going to put left to right curly braces before the closing double quote with a 0 in between them. So my age is space, left to right curly braces, 0 between that and the space years. Then I'm going to delete all the code up until the right parentheses and replace that outside the double quote with dot format age in parentheses. So this will produce the same output as the previous example, but without having to coerce the number into a string. So let's just run this to confirm that it works. Get the same output, my age is 24 years. So the replacement field is represented by the left curly brace, the 0 and the right curly brace, which is then replaced by the first value in the format list, age in this case. And at the moment we've only got the one value in there, and that's the variable age. So that doesn't look like much of an improvement over the previous code, but consider this one instead. So I'm going to type it out. Line 4, I'm going to type print, parentheses, and double quotes, there are, and we'll add some replacement fields. So first one I'm going to do is a 0, all of these in curly braces. There are 0 days in, then curly brace again, 1, with curly braces, comma, and we'll do the same for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can see I'm putting commas and putting curly braces around these numbers again, 6, and we'll finish off the last one, we'll put and, replacement field 7. So I'm going to do that, then press enter there, and the next line type dot format, another set of parentheses, I'm going to type 31, comma, in the left parentheses, or after the left parentheses, Jan, March, or MAR, the abbreviations I'm going to use here, May, oops, missed a double quote there, July, August, October, and last one's December, and a closing parentheses. So I've split that code over 2 lines, which is something you'll see done a lot in Python. Long lines are actually frowned upon in the Python style guide, which we'll talk more about later. For now, just know that Python allows you to split your lines of code like I've just done. Alright, so the replacement fields are replaced by the values that appear in the dot format method call, with the first value replacing 0, the second replacing 1, and so on. So you can see there we've actually got a total of 7 replacement fields defined on line 4, and each of those values are going to go into the respective number 0 through 7. So we've got a total of 8 items in the list after the dot format, and each of those will go into the replacement fields numbered 0 through 7 in our string. So if we run the program now, and comparing the output at the bottom of the screen with the values that appear inside the parentheses after the dot format method call. So in our code, we used 8 replacement fields numbered from 0 through 7. These are replaced with the values in the parentheses after the dot format. So the first value goes into the replacement field 0, which again is defined with a left curly brace, a number, and a right curly brace. So the first value goes into 0, replacement field 0, the second into 1, and so on. And that produces the output that we saw when we ran the program. There were 31 days in January, March, May, July, August, October, and December. Of course, you probably wouldn't use string literals inside format because, of course, they can just be included in the string. So we could have, in this case, replaced what we did there with something that's probably a lot more readable. Print, there are replacement field 0, days in Jan, March, May, July, August, October, and December, and dot format. So that does exactly the same thing, but I just wanted to demonstrate that you can have multiple replacement fields inside a string. And we'll just run that to confirm. I probably should have written it like that, and to be consistent, run it again. We've got the identical output. The other thing to keep in mind is that fields can be used more than once, and they don't have to appear in the order that the values are provided to the dot format method call. It's the field index, the number inside the curly braces, that determines which value to be used. So here's an example to demonstrate that. So I'm going to come down here on line 8, print, parentheses. I'm going to start with a double quote Jan, colon. I'm going to start with replacement field 2, then Feb, colon, 0, replacement field, March, colon, we're going to use 2 again, April, colon, we replacement field 1, May, colon, 2, June, colon, 1, replacement field 1, July, colon, replacement field 2, September, 1, and October, colon, 2, replacement field 2, 2 more, November, colon, replacement field 1, comma, December, colon, replacement field 2. And obviously I've got a large font here, so we're not going to be able to see the entire contents on that line, on this one line. So what I'm going to do is actually go to the end there, press enter there, dot format. I'm going to put 3 values, 28, 30, and 31. So if we run the program, and you can see now that wherever there's a replacement field 0, it's replaced with the first value in the list, 28. We've only got replacement field 0 once for February, and all the replacement field 1 fields are replaced with the second value, which is 30, and the third value, 31, is used to replace all the replacement field 2 replacement fields. Now you can also use triple quotes. What I'll do is I'll print a blank line first. We'll close this run window down. We'll just print an empty line. We can also do something similar using triple quotes. So I could do print parentheses 3 quotes, triple quotes in other words, press enter there. And what I'm going to do is take a copy of this entire line. Doesn't save me typing it again. Okay, take a copy of that. I'm going to go back and paste it after the triple quotes. Then what I'm going to do is just press enter after each one to make it a bit more readable. And because I'm pressing enter on a separate line now, I'm also going to remove the double quotes. I'll remove the comma rather. So I've got February, March, that's the end of the line there. So I'm going to add the 3 closing double quotes there. And I'm just going to put our format statement after that. Dot format, parentheses, 28, comma 30, comma 31. Like so. So now if we run that, and looking at the output for this program, Each month is appearing on a new line, and the number of days is also showing on there as well. So that, I'm sure you'd agree, would be very difficult or would be very messy to reproduce with string concatenation. So the actual replacement is pretty easy to work out. So replacement field 0 is replaced with 28. And you can see the example there showing us on line 14. So it's automatically coerced to be a string for us. Replacement field 1 is replaced by 30. We've defined that as the second entry in our format list there. And replacement field 2 is replaced by 31. You can see obviously the same use of the replacement fields in the code, and we can see the output showing down the bottom of the screen. Now if we'd used replacement field 3 in the string, then we'd have to produce or provide rather another value in the dot format method call. Right, so make sure you understand how the replacement fields are being used before moving on to the next video.